From Playboy bunny and 9-time cover model to one of Chicago's most recognizable media personalities and society columnists, Candace Jordan has spent decades at the center of celebrity culture and reinvention. And she's with us today for a candid conversation about what it was really like to be a Playboy bunny, what it was like to live at the mansion. We're going to talk about aging and confidence. We're going to talk about our golden era. We're going to talk about so much more. You're in my hometown with Jamie and Pascal. Stay with us. Candace, we are so happy that you're here with us.
Jamie, thank you. And Pascal,
Yes.
thank you.
Oh,
Long-time friends.
Long-time friends.
I met Candy when I moved in the States in the late 70s, early 80s. She was the icon of Chicago.
Yes, and
She
still
was,
is.
she still is.
Oh,
Okay, and
bless
I remember about you is you've done a lot of work with Playboy, but I think the most impressive was you did the cover. You did a cover and center page of Playboy, which at the time there was no internet, there was no newspaper, there was no social media. So newspaper was what we were reading.
Brent was king.
Exactly. So I want to know a little bit about how you felt at the time and what was your experience?
My experience was spectacular. I have absolutely zero regrets. Playboy has been my family from the very beginning, from the moment I started in St. Louis as a bunny, which was like 73, I think, to, and then I came to Chicago to the Playboy Mansion. I lived there when Hefner was in residence, and I worked at the Chicago Playboy Club. They have always been top drawer, all the photographers, so respectful. Hefner, the best there ever was. And all my experience, I have no negative feelings about Playboy whatsoever. And it was a breeze to pose. I mean, what girl when they're in their 20s, is worried about how their body looks? Nobody. So,
Right. Well, we have some of your covers and some photos that we could show. But,
Yeah. Oh, my
I mean,
gosh.
you're gorgeous. You are, like I said, you're gorgeous now, but some of these are
trip
just
down
amazing.
memory lane.
When people think of Playboy and they think of a Playboy bunny, I mean, so much comes to people's minds, right?
Yeah.
And what they conjure up and just the perception of it. How much of that is like the reality versus the fantasy, or what do you think?
I think it's pure fantasy, and they're not glorified waitresses, although they were really heavily trained by to do all these serving of drinks, serving food, how to react to VIP guests and all that. A big intensive training session. And of course, for me, fortunately, I didn't serve drinks or liquor. I worked the door, greeted guests, and I played bumper pool, and I worked in the gift shop. But by working the door and meeting all the people that came in, I think it really, really helped me as far as I was the first face they saw when they came to the Playboy Club, and so all the art directors came in, all the photographers came in, and so I had a little bump on that head start. And they would always ask me, if they were testing for covers, Candace, would you come up and test this cover with us? And then they'd print it, and there I would be. So
So for people that don't know, that sort of just know the magazine existed, so because you mentioned, and I didn't even know St. Louis, the club in St. Louis, I just knew in Chicago. Talk a little bit about that at the beginning and how, because you're such a Chicago fixture right here, what was that club for Chicago?
Yeah.
And how,
well,
the role?
I came from a really small town in southern Illinois. It's about 3,000 people. And so I got the job at the St. Louis Playboy Club. I had a scholarship to St. Louis University because I was valedictorian in my class. But I was so sick of school that I couldn't move another inch in that direction. And so I went to the St. Louis Playboy Club. I wasn't even old enough to serve drinks at that time, but they hired me, and that's how I started, working the door there and greeting people. And I did a Best Bunnies pictorial. I'll never forget it. David Chan was the photographer, and he was wonderful. And they loved it in Playboy in Chicago at the Hub. And so they asked me if I'd like to move to Chicago. And
was it a naked? Were you naked in this picture, or
Partial.
Partial?
Partial, yeah.
Partial. And I mean, that was the first time you ever did that. But at the time,
well,
were you...
I had been modeling since I was 13 in St. Louis. So this, posing for a camera was not new to me.
Okay.
And I was very pleased with my figure, and I had no qualms about it. And like I said, the photographers are all first-rate professionals. But when I moved to, Chicago, I mean, it was like the Emerald City. I had never even visited the city before. And, much less to go into the Playboy Mansion from a railroad town in southern
smaller town.
Illinois.
Yeah.
It was quite a shift.
So
but
what was the backslash of the being a center page, a centerfold? You know what I mean? Some people think it's great. Some people think, did you have a lot of controversy on that? Did you have a lot of people thought, what is she doing?
Yeah.
What was the feeling of you being the center page?
Well, surprisingly, in such a small town, you would think that the Bible thumping people, but when they came over after I did the centerfold, my mom and my dad were at our house, and they had a camera crew come over from St. Louis to interview them after I did the centerfold, and so they said, to my dad, how do you feel about your daughter posing in Playboy? And he says, if they would have paid me what they paid her, I would have done it myself.
I love that. Right?
So, fortunately, I'm an only child, and I had my parents 100% behind me in all my decisions.
I
Yeah.
love that. Yeah. And so then you had taken some of these pictures. You get to Chicago. And then I've seen some of these, I've seen like Star 80, like a lot of the Playboy movies, right?
Right.
But I also saw as a child, was it Barbara Walters that did some retrospective, or who went in as a Playboy bunny to Chicago?
That was Gloria Steinem.
Gloria Steinem.
Yeah,
okay.
right,
all right.
right.
And yes.
Yeah, well, her experience was far removed from what my experience was. But I think she went in there with an agenda, obviously, and it wasn't a good one. It was not pro-Playboy. So, I put a grain of salt in whatever she thought.
But what I did see of it, and not necessarily the negativity, was just more how you, as you said, you were trained, and everyone, you had when you served, and you said you weren't a server, you were in another role, but some of the servers had to bend down in a certain way.
The bunny dip. Yeah, the bunny dip. Oh, and listen, the girls were fabulous. They were all beautiful. Most of them were all from small towns.
Okay.
And truthfully, no jealousy. You would never expect that to be the case, but it was absolutely. I'm still friends with almost every single one of those girls that I worked with. Even in St. Louis, Patty Connors, Jimmy Connors' wife, was one of the bunnies in St. Louis. We're best friends. She called me yesterday on my birthday. But all those girls.
Happy birthday.
Happy birthday.
Thank you. But it was a sisterhood, and it was a very elite sisterhood. Not many girls were in it. And it was totally exciting from beginning till now. And I'm still involved with the organization.
Yes, that's so wonderful.
Yeah.
Is Playboy still around, the magazine? No, there is
The
no
magazine,
more.
they just came out with a magazine.
They just came up, because I remember they were talking about eventually bringing back the magazine, but for a while they shut it down. Am I right?
They
were
shut it
just
down.
online.
Right, it was just online.
Yes.
And but now they're going to bring back a magazine, not monthly, but like every 6 months or something like that. And I'm not in favor of the magazine. They had like 10 centerfolds in it. It's ridiculous, which takes a little of the specialness out of that position. But I listen, I'm glad they're still around, period. As long as they're around, then, all my memorabilia is worth a lot of money.
Right.
I heard that you gave a lot of your memorabilia to charity because you wanted to preserve the
Well, I didn't know. That's
the
not
culture.
exactly the case. I was on the Antiques Roadshow.
Yes.
And they had appraised all of my Playboy memorabilia for quite a lot of money. I mean, it was $25,000 was the last appraisal. And shortly after that, I got a call from the Chicago History Museum that they were interested in my collection. So they came over and they looked at it, and they loved it. They wanted it. They wanted to build an exhibit around it and me, which I thought was terrific. That was fine. But they acquired my collection. Yeah.
Oh, that's so it's so fun.
Yeah, I read that just recently.
And if we could show too, so you had a cover. One of your covers is in this gorgeous swimsuit, I believe.
Oh,
and
the
it's sort of
pink.
yes.
Yes.
Okay. What year? So this is
December
1979.
It was
79.
February
Okay.
1980.
And you
think,
were Miss. So you were Miss December. Is
I was
that right?
It was the largest issue they'd ever published.
Amazing.
And that was an iconic cover. They had me recreate.
Yeah,
this
we have a
cover
picture of the recreation
when I was older, like 30 years later.
Yeah.
And well, that's not exactly one of my favorite pictures. But
You look
anyway,
fabulous.
I look
But you
horrifying.
look
You
fabulous.
look fabulous.
You know what?
No,
You
no.
always had something about you which I always was infatuated by is your eyes. You had those beautiful blue piercing eyes.
Yeah.
You,
And I think that's what
He's getting lost in your eyes.
yes,
well,
and-
that was one of my covers, was just my
The
eyes,
eyes,
for the
yes.
February 80 cover.
Yes.
So-
Okay, I don't
and
think
that
we
was
have
an
that one.
award-winning cover. And the funny story behind that was Hefner did not want to publish that cover because it wasn't. Didn't show
Well,
any
he's not looking at
body
your eye.
parts.
He wasn't.
He
looking
wasn't
at your
looking at your eyes.
Well, thank God the art director was, because he thought it was a really special idea for a cover. And so he finally pushed it through and half okayed it, and it turned out to be one of the best-selling covers of all time.
I love to hear that.
Yeah.
So he is such a character, was such a
Yes.
character.
Yes.
And I think definitely polarizing in some ways. I came to know him from, there was a show with the bunnies that lived on and his girlfriends. I forgot now
Girls
what it's
Next
called.
Door.
Yes, the Girls Next Door. I was in love with that show.
Yeah,
That was
I
so
loved
fun.
it. I was on
When he was
a
in
one
was
video.
wearing pajamas with all his girlfriends.
Yes,
He had
it was
actually-
Holly,
Bridget,
and
He had a
Kendra.
TV show.
Kendra.
Yeah.
He had a
I love
TV
that.
show.
Yeah,
He had a
yeah.
TV show.
Called
yeah.
The Girls Next Door.
Yeah,
right.
yeah, yeah,
Door,
yeah,
yeah.
And so, and that's how I really sort of he came into my consciousness.
That was
in
a
way.
great show. That was one of the
Yes.
first real reality shows, quite
Right.
frankly.
Yes.
I
Yeah.
know. And they
Right.
were able to, I think it really did wonders for the Playboy brand. It was licensed in PacSun and all these different places. So it's
Yes.
amazing. Was that how he really was? Like
A lot of it was, yeah. I mean, he's not good at pretending to be somebody he's not. I mean, even when he would make cameos in films, he appeared as Hugh Hefner.
Right.
I mean, he wasn't playing.
He was on Sex and the City.
Yes, exactly. But he didn't need to be anybody else. He was enough as himself. So.
Did he ever want to date you?
No, actually not. I've had people ask me that because there's a lot of photos of us together at parties and things like that.
I think we have one.
Yeah,
Okay.
and
yes, a
no,
recent one.
I don't. I was dating somebody, and I just, he wasn't exactly my type, although I admired him greatly and respected him. But, no, he was just an incredible person.
Yeah.
Incredible.
You were dating a guy named Jay, if I remember. He used to have a
we'll
bar.
cut that out
We're
later.
talking- No. I remember because I was very jealous of that guy at the time. The guy Jay used to own a bar.
Yes,
And I said, how the hell these guys going out with this woman?
Funny. That's
Yeah,
funny.
that's true.
You're
you know?
very
Did you
cute.
ever ask Candace out?
No, I never asked her. No, I was.
We all loved each other and
We loved-
admired each other.
Yeah.
So were you ever at the you were never
Yeah,
at
were
the
you at the
Chicago
Ever
at the
Mansion?
Chicago
Yes, I was in the
Mansion?
mansion.
Oh, really?
Yeah, but we couple times, a long time
Okay,
ago.
yeah,
Yeah,
okay.
yeah. I had the chance to meet everybody. Went to the
Yes.
pool downstairs,
Right.
and it was a kind of fun tent. But
Yeah.
it's
You mean you were at the mansion in Beverly Hills? or
no
wherever
the
you
one
were?
in here,
Oh,
Chicago.
the one in Chicago. Oh,
the
yeah,
one in
cool.
Chicago
Oh,
on Dearborn.
Yeah, right.
Oh,
Dearborn,
okay. I'm
yeah.
sorry. Okay,
Yeah,
very
that
cool.
was. I was.
You must have been a
Yes.
sensation at
I
that
was-
point.
I was-
I know. I would love
I was,
to see
I was,
some
I
pictures of
was
that
young.
time.
I was
Okay.
handsome. I
Right.
had that
What do you
accent.
mean? Like you're not.
I didn't speak.
know.
I didn't speak a word of English. It's even better. you know.
Wait, seriously?
Even better.
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, I knew a couple people, and I went as
Wait,
a
so when
guest.
you came here, you didn't speak English?
No, not a word.
Oh my
not a word.
gosh.
I came here, I had a couple bucks in my pocket and a lot of dreams. And not a
Wow.
word of English.
That's incredible.
No, I
Yeah.
didn't know this.
And then
That's
and
wild.
I ended up being connected with Candice and a
Yes.
lot of people. And, I was the little toy.
Right.
The guy we bring along for a
Well,
good time.
listen, everybody wanted to have their hair cut by you. There's
Yeah.
no
Oh, I
question.
know.
Yeah.
You guys,
Or still, to this day, he's as cute as a button. Look at him.
he is, and he drives around in his little fast cars. So wait, but getting back, so you felt, did being in Playboy and being part of that whole life, did that open doors for you?
Oh, God,
Yes.
are you kidding? Most certainly it opened doors. When I decided, after I was the Bunny of the Year, and then I did the centerfold, and then I did the covers, I had done everything I wanted to do at Playboy. And so I wanted to go back to modeling, and the art directors, they all did comps for me. And I started working as soon as I left the organization. I went to New York. I was with Wilhelmina and Ford there. I worked in Europe. I mean, I was in Risky Business with Tom Cruise. And, I was...
Yeah, I was trying to get that clip.
You did a couple movies, actually.
Yeah.
Smoking in the
Smokey
Band,
and the
Smoking Band 3.
Yep.
Yes.
Wait, you're good. You're way up
I
on
know
things.
he did some homework.
I follow you, Candy. I've been following you my whole life.
Wait, who was? Oh my God, I love this. She's married.
I know, but she was
Will
single for a long time.
Yes.
She was single for a long time.
Wait.
Actually, I love your husband.
Wait,
You're so
who was in Smoking the Van? I'm like escaping.
Burt
it was
Reynolds.
Burt Reynolds.
Reynolds.
Yeah.
Oh my God,
Smoking the
was
Van
he
3,
as like cool as he seems?
Yeah,
or was
he was, that type of
Yes.
that era, the mustache and all that
Right,
kind of stuff.
okay.
Yeah. I didn't see him a lot. I saw Paul McCormick more in the scene that I was in, and also Paul Williams.
Okay. And was that the one where Sally Field was in this one, or no? Was she not in that movie?
I think she was in every
I know.
Smash
She was in every
Band.
Okay,
that was
maybe.
the girlfriend
So
at
that's
the
so
time.
fun. So you were doing some movies.
Yeah,
And is
and-
that what you wanted to do? Or?
No, I was just
Just
you know,
were
any
going
door
with
that
it.
opened, I was just going with the flow. And I mean, I was really lucky. I worked constantly, and I loved the business. I loved the people I worked with. And, you know, I kind of parlayed that into doing what I'm doing now. So.
Right. And so you came, I know Pascal and I were talking a little bit about you before, and he was talking about, we really want to know how you came to come here, because you're not from Chicago. You're not from Chicago, but you're from Illinois.
Yeah.
Okay.
Right.
And how did that all happen?
Well, you know, like I said, it's, you know, a small little town. And I was valedictorian. And then I started at the Playboy Club in St. Louis. And then I came to Chicago. And it was in 1974 that I moved here.
Okay, that's where I was going.
Yeah.
It's more
Yeah,
right. Okay,
1974.
yeah. And the rest is history. But I mean, I guess we don't want to just say that, because we have more to get into.
There is
So
a
I
lot
think,
to
right.
get more.
So I think where I wanted to go is, though, you went from, like, how did you get into covering the entire Chicago scene?
Yeah, well, that's an interesting story because I've always been a diarist, and I've always been a writer. I love to write. And when I moved here, you know, since I'm an only child, my mother and I we were really, really close, more like girlfriends than, mother-daughter. And so when I came here, I wanted to be able to relate to her all the experiences that I had when I came to Chicago. And I wanted her to see it through my eyes. And so I would write her these lengthy things that, you know, I went to this party and here's what happened. And so it kind of honed my skills just to be descriptive in what I wrote. And that, so then I got a blog from Chicago Now was a platform for the Chicago Tribune. And there was like 300 writers on it. I was the first one they asked to join the platform. And shortly after, and I covered all the events, you know, nonprofits and parties and fundraisers and this and that. And the Tribune was looking for a social columnist at the time. And so everybody that was on the Chicago Now platform suggested that they interview me. And so I interviewed, got the job, and I had my Candid Candace column for like 10 years until COVID struck. So
Yeah.
Yeah, you cover a lot.
Yeah.
I mean, you cover every event in
every
Chicago.
event,
I mean,
I have covered
remember,
every single event.
You
yeah.
have
Yeah.
you've met a lot of people along the ways.
Yeah.
Which one really struck you during your career? Which one struck you as you felt like that was a very interesting? You learned, you mentor, and you look upon.
Oh God, there's so many.
But must be one.
So many. No, there's, you know, the ones that I just wrote a blog about this because people ask me, you know, what were your favorite events, Candace, and this and that? Well, the most exciting events that I've been to were, and I just went to one of the Joffrey Ballet. They put together the most incredible celebration gala. It was disco themed. Also, the Museum of Contemporary Art always has an Art Edge event, which is so spectacular. All celebrities. I mean, it's just packed. And then also the other one is the Steppenwolf Theater Company. Those are the three top event throwers because they are so creative and so different, and you never know what to expect when you go to these parties.
Yeah.
But, you know, every single little event, no matter how big or small, always has a little bit of magic to it.
Right.
And so, you know, you never know what you're going to see. And that's what keeps me excited about doing
You
what
were
I
just
do.
recently, you were in one where they had the lunch on the hat in the
Oh,
Ritz-Carlton.
that's the Service Club of
Service
Chicago.
Club,
Yes.
which is a very good.
It's a wonderful organization. They do a lot of good. They have their Day on the Terrace fashion show coming up on August 10th.
yeah.
You should be in that show.
The Sherry called me and asked me to
Yes.
attend, and I just was busy. I couldn't make it. But
What
that
about
was.
this year, August 10th?
We'll see. We'll see.
How is Chicago?
Pascal?
How has Chicago changed over the years or evolved? Do you?
Oh, well, it's gotten, first of all, I don't like the fact that there's more crime. That's, you know, that's kind of top of mind for me. You can't go out after dark like you used to and, you know, go crazy in the streets drinking and carousing, which I really miss. But I don't know. It's more crowded, obviously. You know, there's more people. And you know what I really miss? Because I did a panel discussion called Women Who Lead a couple days ago on Sunday. And the question was asked, you know, what do you miss the most about Chicago? And the one thing that I thought that I missed is, you know, remember all the great restaurants we used to have and all the characters that were on Rush Street? I mean, they had characters, real, like Damon Runyon characters, you know? There's no more characters.
You know, I think what's happening, Candace, is the city expanded a lot. You know, before we had the Gold Coast,
Yeah,
which was
condensed.
that was condensed. That was
Yeah.
the Hugo's at the time. That was I believe that was Sweetwater, Harry's
Sweetwater,
Cafe,
yes, exactly.
Jay's Bar.
Right.
So that was a very small community. variety. Now the city, Billy's Restaurant. You remember that was Faces, the nightclub. You remember those were the. But the city expanded so fast, and now there is the West Loop, there is the River North, there is the Bucktown, there is so many different neighborhoods, and I personally like it because there is a lot more variety.
Oh, I agree.
But I agree with you that before Chicago was much smaller city, everybody knew everybody.
Yeah, that's right.
You go somewhere, you knew somebody, you remember,
So that's you're right. That's exactly what I miss is the, the friendliness.
Yes.
And do you think that, is there, what is the tenure right now for restaurants? Is it a long tenure? Like, are restaurants hanging around long enough, or is there a big turnover?
There's a turnover, but you know what I see? There's so many restaurants opening.
Yes.
I mean, I was just at Naya's opening party.
Yes,
That's at 112,000 square foot restaurant.
The one below Chicago Cat. Yeah.
And it's spectacular.
I don't know.
They opened their reservation lineup to the public, and in 47 minutes, it was sold out for 3 months.
Wow.
So the restaurants, there might be some that don't have a lot of longevity, but there's a lot that are coming to Chicago.
You know what I love about Chicago that I love is the size of you just mentioned the size of Naya. These restaurants that are so big, because when you're in New York, a lot of them are just very small. And of course, there's something about that.
Yeah, I like
that. Real estate is much more
but
expensive.
But it's fun. Like Marche used to be around, and Red Light. Those were really big places.
Right. Oh, I like both. I like the big, but I love like intimate little spots like Swifties used to be in New York. And, those places really appeal to me. But there's room for all the types of restaurants. I'm just glad that Chicago, it seems like they're coming back after COVID, after all this time.
Definitely. The restaurant scene, like you said, Steppenwolf, Looking Glass Theater, I saw you were at something.
Right, yes.
There was a gala for that.
Yes.
So that, for people that don't know, is David Schwimmer.
David Schwimmer, yes, founded it.
And then who's the one, there's another, is Looking Glass also... oh my God, I'm having really bad menopause brain.
It's okay.
What's
it's okay.
happening
I'll ask
with
the
me?
question.
It's okay. Take over. I can't
take
think
over
of anything.
until you think about something, Jimmy, okay?
You're probably trying to segue into that, like Steppenwolf has, Gary Sinise.
Yes.
And, and John Malkovich.
And Laurie Metcalf.
And Amy Morton.
Yes.
I mean, so they just had their gala to celebrate 50 years. And we have so much talent in
What do you
Chicago.
like to cover? What is the most exciting thing for you to cover? Because I know you go everywhere. Which one is what you enjoy doing, covering?
I got to tell you the truth, I love it all. And I love the variety of it. I can't pick one department that, like arts and entertainment. Yeah, I like that, but I also like pets. I love Paws, Chicago, then have their events.
You're involved with
so
that,
just everything that I cover it because I want to. I'm not directed to cover anything. Those are all my own ideas.
Jeremy Piven is who I was trying to
Jeremy Piven?
Yes, right.
Piven,
right?
Yes. Okay. So
Jeremy Piven was in Entourage, I believe. Am I right?
He was in
Entourage.
Yeah, so now.
See, you got it.
I got you.
Thank goodness I could
that's good. When she got a blockage, I'm here.
You're there.
Yeah.
That's why you're here.
That's why I'm here too.
Do you ever are you ever tired and not wanting to go out to one of these openings?
I'm blessed with a lot of energy.
Yeah.
I really, and my mom and dad, I always tell this story. My mother and my father were always the last people to leave a party. You'd have to get a hook to get my parents out of a party. So I think that it's definitely in my DNA.
Yeah. I mean, you like to go out too.
I go out
Pascal's
7
out
nights a week.
constantly.
Yes, exactly.
I'm out all the time. Actually, sometimes we bump each other.
Right.
But I like going out. I like entertain. I like people. I like to
love
see
it.
people.
I'm
I
the
like
same.
restaurant. I like art. Actually, Saturday night I went to see a play, the Monte Python. What was that play?
See, now you're not
Now,
wrong.
take over, Jimmy. Take over.
Do you have menopause? Are you in menopause? I'll take over for you.
I don't have menopause, but I got short time lost.
No, but I'd like to. We could stay on Chicago for a while and just talking about it, because in Pascal he's into photography now too, and he loves to take pictures of the city and these great pictures and all that. And it's a great place to live. But what I would love to know too is how a lot of women, as we get older, we struggle a little bit with sort of the turns, right, and pivots that we take. And it seems that, as you've mentioned, you just sort of are following and you're going and you're open to everything. What has that been your answer
That's
to
the
it?
Answer.
Right.
Totally the answer. Say yes to everything. Go through every open door. You never know where it's going to take you. You never know who you're going to meet. I mean, I just absolutely, that's one of my problems when I was asked at this other discussion, what would you like to slow down with? And I'd say saying yes to everything. But then again, if I didn't say yes to everything, then I would miss out on opportunities that I wouldn't have had before. So.
Right. Is there anything that you haven't said yes to that you would have?
No.
No. Okay. Oh, okay. Right. I mean, I guess that's good.
So about 5 years ago, 6 years ago, I believe then Playboy asked you to do a picture of you on the cover. Am I right?
Yeah.
And that
the
was
one we showed, that purple, the recreation.
Well,
was that
but there
it? Or
was a-
No, that
That's
was
not
another
the
one.
most
That's not the,
recent.
not the one.
Okay.
That's another
Sorry.
one.
I did a 12-page cover feature with 4 other playmates. They had
Yes.
celebrated 5 decades of Playboy.
Yes.
And I was in my 60s when I did that. Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm ready for them to come back now.
I think that was awesome because I think it showed that in any age,
100%.
you could have
That's
your
why I did it.
self-confidence.
Yeah,
And,
I mean,
there
it's
is,
not relegated to 20-year-olds to to feel you're sensitive or sexy or whatever. Yeah.
Right.
but that's what we covered. Jimmy and I covered the pre-golden and golden years. And, we
I
obviously...
thought you were saying we cover sexy or something. I don't know. We cover sexy.
Because...
No, we do. We talk a lot about this going golden and golden era.
Yeah, I love that.
I don't even know where the golden starts and where it doesn't, but it's all sort of that idea.
I think that the Golden Bachelor idea was absolutely genius.
Yeah.
I mean, all these young kids with all these shows, and it's like you have to be a teenager to enjoy sex or have a partner. And I thought when they thought of that idea and I heard that you were in it, top of the line. I mean, it was just the best idea ever. And you were perfect for it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We agree and feel like hopefully it's not that they haven't ruined it all, because I think, they could be doing more with it. I think
why aren't you?
I
Why
just
don't
think,
space.
Jamie and I talk over the few podcasts, is I think, the franchise is about over 20 years old. And as you know yourself, you recycle yourself, you change, you reinvent, you recreate, you come up, you become something new every decade. I just don't think that the franchise has changed much besides bringing the golden, which was good.
Yes.
But I think the last guy they has as a golden didn't make the impact they were expecting. And
Really?
Yes.
Did they pick you?
No.
Well, then that's why it didn't have the impact.
Right.
That's what I
The
said to
answer's
them.
as clear as on your face. And those on your face.
Were you ever approached for a reality show? Or
Actually, yes.
yeah, I bet.
Yeah, it was interesting. Shauna Montgomery.
Yes.
And her sister Shelley Farley.
Yes.
And Whitney Lasky. Do you remember Whitney Lasky?
Whitney.
Beautiful blonde.
E-
Okay, well, the 4 of us were asked to, as a posse, to come together for this. We had a day-long interview for the first time that was ever mentioned to come to Chicago. And so we were there and we were talking everything. And, it didn't happen in Chicago for that. And I think the reason is because the women in Chicago are too sensible to be throwing shoes and screaming matches and pulling hair and doing all the antics that you're required to do to be, to make that work. And so I think that the Midwesterners are just not the right ilk.
That is interesting. I had heard over several years, over the past 10 years, you'd keep hearing that the Real Housewives, were coming to like Winnetka, Glencoe, and they never have done it. I wonder if that is the reason.
That's my opinion.
I've traveled pretty much all over the state, and I've been to New York and LA and Florida and blah, blah, blah. I just think that Chicago is a world-class city.
World class.
Yeah.
No doubt in my mind that Chicago has it all. I don't like when somebody says, New York is better food, New York is better play. You know what? I think Chicago is underrated.
I do too.
It's a magnificent city. We got
Nothing
wonderful
prettier.
art.
You will never find a prettier city than
I agree with the wonderful art, wonderful culture, wonderful food, wonderful fashion.
Yeah.
They should do something in Chicago. They should do the Housewife of Chicago.
They should. They should be doing more. I do think that the weather is not as
prohibitive.
Yes, and New York, it's just a little bit milder weather all year round.
They have been bombarded the last
No,
2
they've had
years.
some snow.
Their
They've
winter
had
has
some
been
snow,
terrible,
but we really have some bad weather.
Yeah.
But I agree. I don't know why we're not
I think they
seeing
definitely
more.
should. Absolutely. Right. And then, years ago, then there was another group of people was trying to do something similar. It wasn't the Housewives, but it was something like the Housewives.
Yes.
And so they interviewed me for that, and it was fun to, the girls were cute, and there's a lot of opportunities. I don't know why somebody hasn't picked up on this Chicago franchise.
So do you seem to, you don't fall into this then, that women of a certain age become invisible and that we have issues? You don't,
I don't think so.
Not Candace.
No, I'm loud and proud.
Right. I love that. And what do you say to women who maybe feel that way?
Well, I get a lot of girls that ask me stuff like that. And, it's just, you can't be a wallflower. I mean, you have to be out there. You have to, and you can't force it. So it's kind of a double-edged sword. If you have a social personality, use it. Get out there and meet and greet people. And I think that's it. That's the key.
And do you think that there's a bit of a shift? One of our recent shows, we were talking a little bit about how some women over 40 seem to be now the leading sort of the romantic lead again, or not again, but they are,
exactly,
right?
yes.
With Michelle Pfeiffer,
and I love it. I absolutely love it, and they look spectacular,
and they do, right?
Yeah.
I mean, Pascal,
and they add a certain gravitas.
Pascal doesn't think they look that great. But.
You don't.
When I look at Debbie Moore, I just think, then no, I don't think she looks great. I think she's done
Who is
too
that?
much to.
Demi,
she
Moore.
definitely has done too much.
She's done too much to.
Way.
I think
She's also too thin.
The problem I have,
And I
never thought I would ever say that.
I know.
yeah, they're pushing it too far. I think, and that's a problem. They're pushing it too far. They don't. They don't know how to stop.
Yeah,
and that's
it's
what
the Ozempic culture. And look at Kelly Osbourne. I'm afraid she's going to die.
No.
I've never seen anybody look so horrible.
Yeah, well,
it's a quick. We a country of a quick gratification.
Yeah.
We want to lose weight.
Yeah.
Ozempic.
Yeah.
We want to look younger. We do a facelift. And
Right.
that's our society.
what do you think that when people, you say you're asked a lot by young people, like what do you think that they maybe misunderstand about aging or that they are worried about? I mean, it's just, there is still this culture of the youth is where it's at.
Yeah, well, they think their lives are over at 25. And when I was in my my teens, I thought life was over at 25 until you get there. Then you realize, and it's like somebody says, oh, like Mick Jagger, his song was like, I want to die by 80 or whatever. And then, of course, now he's like 90.
90.
And
And he's still dancing like crazy.
Yeah, he's taking all that back.
Right.
So, I think it's just, it's how you look at life yourself. You just have to have an open mind about it.
Yeah.
But I think any age, as long as you're healthy, health is wealth. And there's no question. I mean, it's an old cliche, but there's nothing truer than that. It's not money, it's health. If you have your health, you can go anywhere and do anything.
Yes.
How long you been married now, Candace?
36 years.
36 years.
Yeah.
And let me ask you a question.
Yeah.
You don't have any children.
No.
You never wanted
Well,
children?
I have a chihuahua.
Yeah, Chihuahua. That's it. But you never wanted children, or what was the reason?
Well,
because you seem like you're very.
I am very nurturing,
Yeah.
and I don't remember ever having a moment though where I had cravings for children. I was surrounded by kids. I mean, my husband had a child from another marriage, and so I thought, well, why have another one? We've already got one, and it wasn't anything that I I never had the urge. No.
Okay.
Yeah.
Where did you guys meet?
We met at the Old Palm on Oak Street.
Okay.
The old town?
The Old Palm. Remember the Old Palm
The
restaurant?
Palm, yes.
Yes, that's
Yes.
where we met.
Okay.
This is a funny story. A friend of mine, I would always only go out at night. I mean, I was like a real night owl. I never missed a party at Faces. And so my friend, a guy friend of mine says, Candace, you're not going to meet anybody, at those late hours, those bars. He said, why don't you come with me during the day and let me introduce you to some nice people? And so, I set my alarm for noon and met him at the Palm. And there was maybe three guys there at a booth, and so he introduced me to all the people, and of course my husband Chuck stood out like a shining beacon, and we got married 6 months after we met.
Wow.
I love that. Yeah. There's that saying, nothing good happens after midnight.
You know
or
what?
two.
You know
So
what?
guess
When
I'm-
I go out, I have a time clock where I go home. If I don't meet anybody before that time, they're not for me.
Yeah.
So
Correct.
if it's 11 o'clock,
Yeah.
if I go out, I go out to 11 o'clock. I got to be home by 11:15.
Oh, that's an interesting.
If I don't meet anybody on the nav, they don't have my lifestyle.
Yeah. Well, that's smart.
You follow me?
Very smart.
If I go to 2 o'clock in the morning, meet somebody, most likely.
You are so funny.
That's
I
true.
love that.
I have my,
Yes.
even when I have a party in my house by 11 o'clock, everybody's got to
Right.
get the hell out of here.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
shut the light, everybody out.
Yeah.
Right. You need your beauty. He needs his beauty sleep.
That's right. Well, he gets It's a lot of it.
But what I'm saying is after a certain time, you have a different type of crowd who goes out. Am I right?
Oh, 100%. 100%.
Yeah, and the crowd that's not my crowd.
No. And when I would stay out later than I should, I didn't like the way I was.
Right.
It wasn't pretty.
Was the Playboy Mansion, was it as crazy as everyone thinks it was?
Yeah, it was. Yeah. I mean, the one in LA I think was a little crazier because they had more room to spread out and get more people involved. And, God, their Midsummer Night Dreams parties, the New Year's Eve parties, all the celebrities, everybody who was anybody wanted to come to those parties. And the girls were all gorgeous, so it was a beautiful crowd, A-listers. And in Chicago, it's more contained. They only had that little ballroom to have the parties in. And, I mean, the Rolling Stones were there. I mean, people still wanted to come to Hefner's parties, but it wasn't, I never saw it as crazy as it was in California.
Right.
Which I liked better.
Yeah. Or
the Midwest was a little bit more conservative.
Yeah, right.
The Midwest was a little bit more
Well, you have to also remember at that time they were all over him trying to nail him with drugs, and the people
But it was a big controversy with the drug because I think his personal assistant was dating a guy who was a drug addict, a drug dealer, and I think she got arrested.
Yes,
and I believe that you didn't stand behind her.
Yeah.
And that was a very big controversy.
They were horrifying to her.
Yes.
And to the point where she killed herself. She
Yes,
committed suicide.
yes. You didn't know that story?
Yeah.
No.
So the Hugh Hefner right hand,
Okay.
his mentor, was dating a drug addict, a guy who was a drug dealer, and he was selling drugs all over. And Hugh didn't want that to happen because that was against.
Right.
And she got convicted of drug trafficking.
Yeah.
And I believe
And they did that to get close to Hefner because they thought they would turn her to lie and give evidence. And
Hefner, I believe, turned his back on her and let her because he didn't want to be involved with that.
Well, I don't know about that.
Right.
I don't think
But
that's
she
the
killed
truth.
herself, am I right?
She did kill herself. But shortly, it devastated Hefner. And shortly after that, he sold the mansion and moved to California because of that.
Yes.
Wow, that's so horrifying. Because what I brought up earlier was the Star 80, which was a movie that was based, I
Dorothy
think,
Stratton.
on her. And she
boyfriend.
was a Playboy, and she had this crazy boyfriend that
who killed her.
Killed her.
Right, because he wanted to control her and everything, which is another. I mean, I'm sure there were a lot of those just awful stories.
Well, nothing as bad as Dorothy Stratton's story.
Yes.
I mean, that was the worst it ever was.
Dorothy Stratton is the one that the boyfriend killed her?
Yes.
Yes.
And she was dating Peter Bogdanovich.
Star 80, they call it Star 80, am I right? That was
yeah.
the movie Star
Yeah, that's
80.
what I said.
She was
the movie
beautiful.
Star 80, did you say that,
Come
Jimmy?
on, listen, you got to listen to Jamie.
I just want to remind her that was Star 80.
Who is that guy, Julie Roberts' brother, Eric Roberts, played in that.
Right.
And then, but it was about her. Yes.
She was stunningly
She was
gorgeous.
stunning, right, and sad. And then you were saying, right, she was going to be with that director, Peter Bogdanovich, right? So that's.
But after Playboy, when Playboy came up and became very popular again, we didn't have the internet, we didn't have a cell phone.
No.
So there was a lot of competition come up. There was a Hustler magazine with
Penthouse.
Yes, Penthouse. There was Hustler, Maxim.
Yeah.
There was a lot of magazine who came up and started competing.
Yeah.
You felt like that was little bit the downfall of Playboy?
Well, there was a moment that Hefner tried to compete with, instead of maintaining his own integrity with the magazine, he did do a thing where he tried to compete with, the pictures were a little more risque.
Yes.
And that was a bad decision for a while, but he got out of it. But it was not a good time for
and
Playboy.
like you said at the beginning, it was a very big deal to be this centerfold.
Oh, God,
Yes.
I mean,
huge.
It was like a big star. That was like being a movie star, basically.
I mean, they had Playmate. I worked some of the Playboy Playmate hunts, they would call them, and they'd have them in New York, and they'd have them in Chicago. And the wrap around the block with women. I mean, it was unbelievable. You go all day long, and the line never diminished.
That's what we used to do. We used to hang around those lines.
Sure.
When is the audition? Okay, we'll be there.
You were no fool, Pascal.
No, I mean, I graduated high school in '89, and I remember there was a short amount of time where I sort of thought that would be an interesting path. It did not go down that path, but I know at that time, I think it was a stepping stone. There were so many, like a Carmen Electra or Jenny McCarthy, a lot of these young women who, like I was, wanted to get
Pamela
into
Anderson.
wanted to get
Anderson,
into something at MTV or do things that was sort of a stepping stone to it.
Definitely. Well, yeah. Pamela Anderson. I mean, she is just ethereal. I mean, I think she was his favorite by far.
So did you met her?
Yeah.
Okay.
She's a little bitty thing. But she looks very compact in her photos. I mean, she could fit all of her legs in one frame. So, that helped. But I have never seen anybody photographed as well as she did.
Her story is
Pamela
remarkable.
Anderson's been discovered as a football game in Canada.
Yes, right.
The camera come up and spread to her, and that's how she get the fame.
Yeah.
Yes.
Isn't that amazing?
And then a beer company reached
she's
out.
a second like that.
That's when you know it's fate.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
It's
I
fake,
mean,
yeah.
she... and then she was on a TV show called Home Improvement.
Yeah,
she had a small role.
Yeah.
She's gorgeous now.
Gorgeous, stunningly
seems
gorgeous,
like
and
such
an
a-
incredible actress.
Right. Yes. I used to watch Baywatch and think that she was really good on it,
fabulous.
and love her. So there were a lot of women.
Hefner's got good taste,
right?
Yeah.
Yeah. But he definitely had a look.
Well, he had a look for a while where it was all blondes.
All
and,
blonde.
They were all
you know,
blonde.
and
They were all blonde,
implants,
yeah.
blondes and implants.
Yeah.
But he got through that.
Yeah. I used
So
to
we
have
went through that stage.
Candace, I used to have black hair. Now I'm a blonde.
But when I did the centerfold, it was December '79. All those girls from the '70s. What I loved the most about them is that they were such a variety of women. There was no cookie cutters. There was every ethnic group. And it was just so different. And, all the fans, they had their distinct favorites. And, and shortly after that is when he got into that blonde phase where every single centerfold looked the same to me.
They looked the same, yeah. So what?
And so that happened for a while, but then he got out of that and on to things. But I think that my era, actually, I call it the golden age of Playboy.
I agree. I agree. When you were in Playboy, those were the golden years of Playboy.
Yeah. And all those girls were stunningly beautiful.
When he had those casinos, the club, the tents, and he was involved with Morton, I think.
Arnie Morton.
Arnie Morton was opening his steakhouse in his Playboy mansions, in his Playboy clubs.
He helped Hefner with it, yeah.
Yeah. Did you ever meet Christy?
Oh, God, we're friends,
Okay.
yeah.
And is she still in Chicago?
Yeah, she's still in
She is.
Chicago.
Okay.
She looks fabulous. Smart as a whip, super cum laude, and ran the company expertly at a young age. And so all of his kids were fabulous kids.
Yeah.
He has a son that didn't want to have anything to do with Playboy that lives in Colorado, but his name is David. But I met him. He was not. All the kids were wonderful.
The two boys were
Marston and Cooper.
right. The sons of the woman that was on. I forgot her
Kimberly
name.
Conrad.
Kimberly. She lived on the property for a long time.
Yeah, yeah,
right.
yeah.
Okay. Yeah. She was beautiful too.
She was one of the playmates where they recreated her centerfold too.
Oh wow. Okay. Oh, she was there during that whole thing. Okay. And so what a fun experience that you guys had. And so for the most part, like you said, there was not a culture of competition within the ladies and the girls.
No, because everybody was different. It's not like, when they would shoot a photo or they'd be looking for a certain type, it's not like everybody looked the same, so let's just pick one of you. And but it was just, helpful. Here's, you need some makeup, you want, here, I'll help you put the tail on. And I mean, it was a real true sisterhood and still is to this day.
So if I ask you a question, if you have any regret or any change you would have loved to do, what will it be?
Well,
we all have regret. We all have things we wish we could have done differently. We have
no.
No, you
No,
okay.
When I did my centerfold, they asked me to move to California, and for a while I thought maybe I should have, and then I got over it quickly because that means I wouldn't have had the life I have now with my husband and everything else. So I thought for a millisecond that should I have done that, or am I doing the right thing staying in Chicago? But I did it the right thing. I questioned myself, but I did the right
But
thing.
you don't regret.
Oh, no
regret.
regrets.
I love
What
that.
would-
How do you keep away from regretting things?
Well, you can't live in the past, and you can't change the past. And the thing that you could do if you think you've made a mistake is learn from it and make it into a positive. Turn lemons into lemonade.
But you have a very big group of friends. I mean, I've seen you with Cathy O'Malley, I've seen you with Sherry Fox.
Well, I've been here a long time.
I know you have a very,
lot of friends.
very,
But hopefully she has some.
you have a lot. No, but that's unusual. I mean,
Yeah.
some people usually I know I have 2-3 best friends.
Yeah.
Okay, but it seems like you have a very wide range of friends
Yeah.
because of been involved
Yeah,
in
on all the events and all the
event you've done and
nonprofits.
stuff
You're
like that. Yeah.
absolutely right. I'm very lucky. I've got a very diverse group of friends from all different aspects.
What advice would you give to a younger woman who's starting her life, and what would you say?
Oh, I would just say what I said earlier is just say yes to everything. That's the best thing to do. And walk through every door.
But I asked you out when you were young. You never said yes.
You never did.
I love
But you did
that.
give me a great haircut.
Yes, but say yes to everything and be
Yes,
open.
say yes the best. That's the best advice I could give to anybody.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I'm trying to do that now in my 50s.
Yeah.
That I had not really done was sort of roll with it.
You know, a
bit
lot
more.
of times, and here's the thing that I found to be true. You know, if you have like going out and
Mm-hmm.
things like that, I said to Chuck, I said, you know, I don't feel so
Mm-hmm.
like going. I don't have the energy and this and that, but I'm going to go because I've already committed myself. When I feel that way, I wind up having the best time I've ever had. I mean, it's always so unexpected that, you know, the things you regret or the thing, not regret, but the things you're, you know, not really looking that forward to turn out to be unbelievably fun.
Yeah.
And something different.
I love that.
Yeah.
So we always like end, or not always, but sometimes with some rapid fire
Rapid fire.
questions,
Rapid fire.
which
Go ahead.
I have some.
Oh, this
so
is good. I
what
love
do you?
rapid fire.
Oh, good. What do you think
If
is
you
the
can
most?
answer, I'll answer.
Okay, good.
What do you think is the most glamorous decade?
The 70s.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. It's
I'm
The
kind of-
70s? The 70s?
Yeah, I'm kind of
not
biased.
the 80s. Okay.
I'm biased.
Because
I
of your
Because that's the years that I was with Playboy.
I will say the most glamorous decade will be more like in the 30s when men were
Well,
wearing
we're talking about
suits.
when
Well,
you
that's
were
true,
where you were.
Pascal,
in.
but she didn't ask you that question.
Okay, but
That
I
was
answered the
directed at
question.
me.
Okay.
I know, but I guess I was
So
thinking.
you sit in your little corner over there, and I'll answer
I was
these
also
questions.
thinking that it would be the one of that you've lived through, but I
Yeah.
but I think that
No, it's
yeah.
fine.
No, but I
It's-
mean, you look at the fashion today, you look at the 30s where men and women
Oh, yeah, no.
wearing suit and
Oh,
ties
Cary
and hat,
Grant,
and now you
yeah,
look at
and
those
Audrey
pants where you could see
Hepburn
their underwear. Is where are we going with that type of fashion?
Oh, I agree
these
with you
days?
100%.
Yeah.
I do agree with that. Yeah.
This is not on my list, but if you could be approached by any brand or work with any brand right now, who would you want to work with?
Oh, God, that's a great
Because
question.
someone should approach you if they haven't already.
Yeah. Well, that's a good question.
I know.
Oh, my God. I don't know.
Okay.
I don't know.
All right,
I mean,
well,
I'm not a real
I
big
would say
fashion.
Christian Dior.
Oh,
Well,
okay.
I would say some jewelry line.
Okay, yes. Hermes,
Hermes,
whatever. Okay.
Hermes.
All right, good. All right. Oh, most overrated thing about fame that you see.
Oh, that's good. Everything's
Yeah.
overrated about fame, I think. There's
Everything.
you know, fame is in and of itself kind of disposable.
It's a short period of time.
Yeah.
Yeah,
It's
right.
a short lived.
Yeah,
One thing women over 50 should stop worrying about.
everything, absolutely everything. I used to lay in bed at night, like 3, 4 o'clock in the morning, and I wouldn't just worry about things for myself. I'd worry about global things that I have no control over, which is so ridiculous. You know, and I think women in general are warriors, and I don't know how to make that stop because I still do it.
So is men. So is men. Not
Really?
just women.
Do you
yeah.
think
God.
Wait,
Pascal
worry?
always loves to jump in with the men.
Yeah, I mean, you. It's not just women worry. Men worry about how they're going to pay the bills, how they're going to keep their job, how they build their career. They have tuition for college and this and that. Men, there is a lot of worries about men.
Stay awake at night, like
Stay
women
awake,
do?
yeah. You lay in bed and say, okay, how am I going to pay that bill? How am I going to fix up this? How am I going to do that? You know?
That's
All right.
Worry
that's
about-
true. Men worry.
Universal
Men worry,
problem.
men
All
worry
right.
too, Jimmy.
Sexier now or in your 20s?
Oh, I think I'm sexier now because I'm wiser, but my figure obviously was better in my 20s.
Right. I mean, don't you something when I think
If I
about
could have the best of both of those worlds, I'd be okay. But I'd prefer now. Yeah.
most unforgettable celebrity encounter?
Oh, Al Pacino, hands down. Al Pacino, hands
Where
down.
was that? Do
Besides
tell.
Hefner. I mean, he's a celebrity. So besides Hefner, I had the opportunity on a red carpet to interview Al Pacino, Christopher Walken, John Bon Jovi, Alan Arkin, and they were all in town for a film that my friend Michael Kutza, who was founder of the International Film Festival, had arranged, and he had me right there on the red carpet. And I am telling you, Al Pacino was one of the nicest men I have ever spoken to. He would have talked to me all night long. I mean, his agent had to tap him on the shoulder to get him to move, but
He fell into your
Oh,
eyes.
I adored him. He answered every question, and I was so nervous. My questions were just inane. But he was just a class act and a real gentleman, and I love him.
Okay, I love to hear that. He
You
just
know,
had a
you know,
baby.
Al
Yes.
Pacino. Actually, Al Pacino was cast. Al Pacino was cast for the movie The Godfather, and he wasn't the first choice. They didn't want him at all
Yes,
for
is
The
that
Godfather.
unbelievable?
They didn't want him. And finally, the producer said, "I want him. That's the guy I want," and that's how he launched his career.
Yeah,
He's
I
The
love
Godfather.
it.
Yes,
Yeah, I love that.
I love
Yeah.
Al Pacino.
I
and
love
I think
it.
to me, he's one
And
of the
didn't
greatest.
Francis Ford Coppola do
Yes.
Yes.
Pacino was on a talk show one time, and he was so adorable. He said that Francis Ford Coppola had him doing, he says, then I want you to dance. And he says, and then you're going to just drive this car over here and this. And he says, I don't dance, I can't drive. And he had all these things that he couldn't do that he was supposed to have to do in the film. So his personality is just adorable.
Hey, I
Adorable.
love to hear that. I haven't really heard that. One word to describe Chicago.
Oh, goodness. One word. Friendly.
Okay.
Yeah,
Okay, I love
friendly.
that. One thing people get wrong about beauty.
Well, they think that they could buy it. And beauty is much deeper than skin surface. So, I say you have to be proud of your wrinkles because they're there for a reason.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I love you. And the biggest lesson aging has taught you.
Oh gosh, to give myself more credit. Yeah, I've been so hard on myself all through my life. Not I have to do this, I should have done that. I could do this better. I know I could do this better, and to just give myself a little more time and be more patient with myself
Love that. Most empowering thing about getting older.
is knowing more, having more wisdom, and not putting up with the bullshit. And knowing when you want to say no, you say no, and you don't have to give an explanation.
Right?
I agree.
It's
as you
11
get older-
o'clock. I gotta go.
I gotta go. Everybody's gotta get out. I mean, I agree. I think as you get older, you don't give a shit.
No,
anymore,
and you
know?
listen
It's
to
like-
yourself. You do.
Exactly.
You get a little more selfish, which there's nothing wrong with
If
that.
they don't like it, they don't like it.
No,
Right.
Absolutely, I agree 100%.
Yeah. So, Candace, this has been so great. I mean, you have had so many lives. You've been Playboy Bunny and a
cat.
cover model and an actress and a columnist, a media personality. So which version of Candace is the happiest?
Oh my God, the one that's juggling every plate. If I don't have a lot of plates spinning, then I'm not happy. And, I'm a double Gemini, and I get bored really easy. So, so I'm very lucky to have all the platforms and the things that I'm involved with.
Yeah.
And your husband is able to
In the beginning,
follow you
in the beginning,
because I see him. I know your
Yeah.
husband very
Right,
well.
right.
Yeah, I mean, he's following you.
yeah. Well, listen, he didn't care so much for my lifestyle when we first met. But now that he knows the people that I know, and we have mutual friends together, now he looks forward to it because when we go out, we know all the people together.
Yeah.
So now he has fun with it. Yeah.
Yeah, I love that.
Yeah.
I mean, finding a partner that is going to grow with you. And
If I can't look over and see him in the corner of the room, then I'm not well. I'm not good.
love that.
good
Well,
to
we
hear.
are
Good to
good
hear.
because you were here with us today.
Yeah.
Thank you so
Where is he?
much.
He's
for
not
taking
here.
this
He's not
time.
here right now.
Right. Well, he's at home. But
I
this
had
has
the
been
best time. Jamie and
Thank you.
Pascal,
Thank
were
you.
so good.
Thank you.
I'm
Thank
so
you.
honored to be a part of your
Thank
show.
you.
Thank you. And Candid Candace.
Candid Candace.
And what else?
So it's Candid Candace for Crane Chicago Business. I'm associate publisher for Chicago Star Media, which is a fabulous publication online. A WGN Radio with Rick Cogan. Let's see. I have my podcast, Candid Candace, the podcast. And of course my blog, which is the first and longest running lifestyle blog in Chicago.
Yes.
Wow, I
Candid
did not
Candace.
know.
Yeah,
Yes.
it's like 17 years now.
Okay. Well, I just
Yes, about
love
the
it.
scene of Chicago, what's
Yeah,
going on in the
right.
city. You want to know, you go to. And
Yeah, go there.
Candid
And
Candace.
and thank you for being here.
Thank you. Thank you. And follow us.
Yeah, follow us.
Love your
and-
comments.
Yeah, keep commenting. We'll see you next time in my hometown.
Aw.